Alrighty, what's up, guys? It's the Fallen Sanctum here. We'll do a. I'll do probably like a French recap in the comments section for those interested. But we're gonna go over patch 25.9. It's gonna be important because for a lot of playoffs and competitive tournaments coming up, this or 2510 might be the patch used. Now there are a lot of changes here that are very impactful in pro play. Don't really care about solo queue. If you see something that's abusable that works in solo queue, go ahead, gain your LP with it. But say the solo queue right now, I couldn't care less. Anyways, let's get right into it. For those interested in competitive gaming, we'll be working on drafts and proper team building exercises and stuff like that. So for those interested, stay tuned. But we will start booting up the League of Legends content on the channel outside of just the cast, because I do a lot of analytical work during the cast, but some people may want to see what's up behind the scenes. So anyways, let's get right into it. So let's skip all the boring blah blah. So important things to notice is there are nerfs to Jungle Gwen, AD carry Kalista, Jungle Nefiri. Mid Nefiri, no one really plays that. It might just be a solo queue thing. And Jungle Yorick. So a lot of big jungle changes and huge nerfs to things like Symbiotic Souls, Rod of Ages, tier 3 boots, and stuff like that. And some huge buffs for tier 3 boots as well and stuff. So, and some buffs to the likes of Shen, Cassante, Annie, I don't think will be very relevant as long as the kind of sit around and do nothing build exists. Orianna getting buffs could be very important. She's a champion that's often played in competitive, especially as a second or third game pick in Fearless. So that is something that could be relevant. And Cassante buffs are always good because it means we now finally have like a proper second tank that kind of wants to be played in Fearless instead of maybe we're going to be moving away from all like bruisers and stuff. So let's get right into it. So the Spirit Blossom map, one thing you have to understand with this is we get icon changes, which I'll cover later on in this video, but otherwise, it looks okay. Like what, they changed the flowers here. Okay, yeah, they added some trees at the start of the game. Cool. Not much of an update. Nice battle pass. No Ionian champions. Just saying. Alright, skip that. Alright, the Thornbound Atacon. This is what I want to talk about. It's a huge change because right now in competitive, we've got the we have the Voracious, which is the false life. You get a GE that gives gold when you die, but you kind of respawn without like getting a death timer. Just a slow respawn. And then you have Ruinous, which is buffs your epic monster buffs. So now there's no Voracious and Ruinous anymore, so we'll just have this Thornbound. So let's see what it does. So you get Spirit Petals, Cleansed Bloody Petals, which grant 25% XP and Adaptive Force. So it's the bonus from the Voracious, from the Ruinous, and then it's got an effect, like an added effect, but it's like a permanent added effect. So on takedown, bless the area around the target, slowing and damaging any other nearby enemies, as well as granting your team a Spirit Petal. So you get a petal, which gives you XP and Adaptive Force, and you get a big Karma Q. You get a Mantra Karma Q. Essentially, every takedown. So this has the potential to get really nutty. We're adjusting bounties. Okay, so no longer pays up to 60% more gold based on calculated lead. That's pretty big. Now pays up to 10% of the gold difference on top of the base bounty amount, capped at 1,000 gold total. That is not too bad. Lesser objectives such as outer turrets have lower base bounties, also have lower payouts from the gold lead. Okay, so just adjusting. You give and you take, so not many changes, but might mean that early turrets aren't that important. Adjusted bounty calculation for accuracy, gold leads are more important, other objectives are less important. So if you're behind in gold and not behind in objectives, the bounties will be more favorable to you. Champion Bounty suppression still waits up to 6 minutes in game until Champion Bounties suppression is active. So you have to wait 6 minutes before there's a bounty. And no longer suppresses bounties when a team is moderately behind. Ooh. So that means if you are catching back up while behind, you can still give up a lot of money. Tuning base gold now scales up to 10 gold per level from 7 to 18, maximum for 20 gold. Positive bounty accrued from kills increased by 17, kills and assists by 17%, and farming increased by 14%. Okay, that's not bad. We're getting a really big change with the Void Epic monsters. We're losing 3 grubs. It's spawning later, so it won't really be an early game objective that you can trade the dragon for. So now the first dragon will be very, very important when it comes to this. So switches to 8 minutes. No longer respawns, so there's only one spawn of Void Grubs. Now grants a Hunger of the Void single Void Might buff when you kill 3 grubs rather than 4. And you get the feats credit to whichever team took 2 out of 3 grubs. So that is huge, because often teams, like, you'll get the first 2, and then, like, you don't have the smite, and they come over and they just smite the third. You'll still get the feats credit if you take the first 2. So now the first 2, insane. They improved the DOT from 2 to 3 at 2 and 3 stacks. So that's good. Rift Herald also no longer has his damage neutralizing gaze. Spawns at 15 minutes, so that's relatively early. So yeah, no single target damage debuff. Target current HP bonus damage scaled up to 20%, so much easier to solo now, but it does a lot more damage. It lost a lot of its AD ratio and fixed non-cooldown attacks, reducing the eyeball cooldown. What? Fixed? Oh, okay, so you can use the Herald attack if you're getting hit by minions. So Summoned Pet, making QOL changes to increase value consistency. Base turret charge damage increased, but turret charge goes down for each tower. But turret charge damage goes down for each tower it hits. Summoned Pet, making QOL... Are we talking about, like, Yorick ults? Tibbers and Daisy? No. They're talking about, this is the Rift Herald. Okay. So driving speed should be smoother and more responsive. Okay, when driving, if you crash near an enemy turret without hitting it, the Rift Herald will attempt to perform a non-driven turret attack charge. Okay, that's pretty good. Position binding and roll swapping. Now this is something more for solo queue. Essentially, they're going to make it so that you can, like, swap positions and champion. We're making the small changes when important changes to jungle and support. So basically, the hashtag #FuckBartonNet. Jungle will be auto-assigned smite, and only 1 smite will be allowed per team. Fantastic. Supports will automatically be given a World Atlas as their starting items, so no more Bartonet troll shit. This shouldn't impact gameplay, but I think it'll lead to less trolling and pre-game mistakes. So the only thing now that's left is they fix the auto runes, but that might take a while to do. So to make sure you can arrange your team in light of these new rules, we're adding the ability to swap roles with other players. So you get auto-filled, it's easier to just say, swap roles with me and stuff. We're also the lane swapping rules and attaching them to support specifically. No longer will laners be directly penalized because Pyke walked across the lane after a late invade. Lissandra can freely roam top for a level 3 gank. However, we're still retaining some of the own functionality to prevent situations like Sion and Kai'Sa dual laning top at the start of the game. Okay. Lane swap detection. This is important for higher elo competitive. So detection still requires there to be a jungler on the team. It's active from 1 to 3 in top and 1 to 215 in mid. Defending champion still receives all the gold and XP from the lane, receives 50% less damage while under their turret in top lane, and the defending tower still receives 95% less damage while any 2 non-junglers are in their lane. Non-supports no longer receive reduced... Ooh, okay. So that's pretty good. Supports in mid and top lane when accompanied by now receive no gold or XP from lane minions. It cannot consume... Oh, wow. Okay, so that is just nuking lane swaps. Because now, if the support's not by lane, they can't progress. 1,000% increased turret damage in the top lane is now locked behind seeing 2 non-jungler champions. Okay, so 3-man turret dives. Pretty scary because now the turret does 10 times more damage. So that means normally there was like there's still the heating up effect, but it's 10x'd if you are 1v2 plus people and there's no jungler. Even if there's a jungler, if there's 3 people, but the third person is a jungler, the 2 other people will take, any of the 3 people will take bonus damage. That's like pretty intense. A death screen, okay, player behavior, griefing update, security, rank season. Okay, let's get into the battle. Sorry, it's been 10 minutes, and we're just going over the jungle changes. It's really big in competitive. Annie gets, what is it? It's a 10 okay, so it's 10. It's 30 damage late, 10, so it's like 5. No. What is it? It's like 6 damage per rank. Essentially 6 damage per rank, but it's much better early. Yeah. Okay. So just higher base Q, lower the W. So W mana buff, insane. It starts at 70 instead of 90. That's insane. The Q damage isn't that amazing early, but the W changes are fantastic. And the passive magic pen start now at 15% and go up to 20%. That's like a void staff. That's crazy. Ashe loses about 1% per rank on the AD ratio, and the bonus attack speed 20. She gains about 2.5. She gains about 2% per rank. So that's not too bad. Let's see what changes are done to Gwen. Armor growth, she loses a 0.3 armor per level. I don't think that's too big. These are the Gwangul changes. You lose 5% AP. So it's because normally your passive that heals you or whatever, that does damage. It's 5 plus 15% of your AP. So if you have 100 AP, that's 15 damage. So it'd be 20 damage for the monster cap. But now it would be 10%. So you're losing 5 damage. Yeah. You're essentially losing 5 damage per 100 AP. So I don't know if it's that big. The snip though. The Q damage going down is huge because we go from, we lose 3% AP. Wow, that's insane. And we lose 15% AP on the maximum damage. Okay, so that means that tanks can be tanks and bruisers can be a little more happy when they take a bad trade with Gwen. She's gonna do a lot less damage. I think this is a huge top. The Q nerf is a huge top lane nerf. Cassandre, default item shop updated. Okay, that's not a buff. W damage increase. It's literally just 45. So it's like what, 9 damage per rank? Yeah, something like that. It's like 8.75 damage per rank or something like that. That's not amazing. So not really much of a buff. I don't think it'll change much, if anything. Kalista losing 20 HP, 2 AD, but she gains 0.75 AD. This could be big for the lethality build, like the QMax build, because 0.75 AD ratio, AD extra growth is really good. But we are nerfing. Ooh, wow. Ooh. We're losing 5 damage per rank. Yeah, we're losing 5 damage per rank. It's a flat 5 damage nerf. So, not the biggest nerf in order to run, but the level 1 run, really important to get those like good team fights going. You just lost like half your base damage on that, which is insane. The passive duration increased to 2.5 seconds. Q mana cost decrease. That's a fantastic change. Leona has a horrible. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, these are great Leona buffs. I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference, but these are great quality of life Leona buffs. Morgana, let's see. 20 per rank on the Black Shield. Not really that important, I'll be honest. And Soul Shackles, you get bonus movement speed while using it. I mean, that could maybe be something, but I don't think Morgana is really in much of a playable state right now. Now, let's look at Naafiri. Nefiri, oh my god, that is a huge nerf because this isn't the skill you max first. So it being 4 seconds longer is insane. And the dash damage, you lose 10% of your bonus AD. Okay, it is a pretty significant nerf to Nefiri jungle. I think they're gonna hurt her quite a bit in terms of her versatility, of just being able to kind of like when Fizz just ease everything and just runs out of the way and you like can't dodge. And Q mana cost reduced. Oh wow, okay, that's an amazing buff for Orianna. 35 at all ranks. That means by the time you're level 9, your Q only cost 15 mana less, and then by the time it's rank 2 it would have like old rank 2 would be the same as the rank 1 now. So great update for Orianna. Shen recommended items for Rengar, who really cares? Empowered Q damage. Now this, I saw a post about it and some Shen mains were kind of popping off on here. Shen is a top laner that sees play, but it's also a support that sees play, and it's a support that can deal a decent amount of damage. So let's see, we got 40 to 10 based on level, and it goes 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. So that's 1% across the ranks. It's like a 1% buff globally on his Q for the maximum like the max HP. So it's not that bad, but I think what Shen suffers from the fact that his E is like almost 30 seconds of cooldown, and like his W is also horrible, and it's just not really playable in like an Ambessa, Gwen, Renekton, Rumble meta. Alright, Yorick miss damage nerf. So the Mistwalkers, so the little ghouly guys, those are the Mistwalkers. 10% damage nerf. It's pretty big because Yorick known to just AFK solo bosses while the team's like taking a team fight, and then he shows up because he just took Elder, froze his E, and then pentakill. So I think this will hurt solo queue Yorick. I haven't seen much jungle Yorick. We've seen top lane Yorick, and monster damage isn't really important to top lane Yorick. And ooh, okay. Nice quality of life here for Cho'Gath and Nunu. Boots of Swiftness. They lose 5 base movement speed. Not a big change. I think it's still one of the best boots in the game. And you'll see why with the upgrades. Symbiotic Souls now only grants 10 out of combat movement speed. So it's really shitty Mobies. And you no longer get empowered recalls. So unless these boots are like 400 gold, I really don't see the point in buying these anymore. Rod of Ages, losing 50 base health, 50 maximum. So it loses about 100 health total, and it loses 5 AP. So it'll hurt champions like Sylas, but I still think the Orianna, Talia, and stuff will still continue to build it. I think this is just a lot more hurtful to champions that are normally in the bruiser category and not in the regular mage category. Because only 5 AP, not that significant, but 100 HP on bruisers can be the difference between tanking 2 extra auto attacks in the early game and not tanking it. So the tier 3 boot upgrades are fantastic. So let's see what changes. It's become apparent that having the option to upgrade to 3 isn't useful, that they're mostly too weak. We've held up on Okay. So, still, you need the Feats of Strength from the Otacon to get the boots upgrade. And now all the boots cost 500 gold. And forever forward, I believe Crimson Lucidity is the Ionians, Merc Treads, Plated Steel Caps. These are the Symbiotic Souls. Yeah, Symbiotic Souls, Berserker Greaves, Sork Shoes, losing 1%, Magic Pen. I don't think it's that big. The 2% from the Forever Forwards, but the Symbiotic Souls are already kind of like fucking worthless. So if you're buying Symbiotic Souls, Swift Marches, now these boots are insane. So not only do they go to 500 gold for the upgrade, you lose 5 movement speed. You no longer get the 4% total increase, but you get adaptive force equal to 5% of your total movement speed. So 5% of 300 something is a decent amount. So on champions like Lilia, but I think on most champions that utilize mobility or that build any items that give percentage movement speed increase, or that just have a lot of mobility, like movement speed in the build, this is insane. You're paying 500 gold for more stats, for more gold worth of stats than you would naturally have buying components that give these stats. So that's insane. That's just insane. These boots definitely Swift Marchers, Gun 80 carries, mages, Ezreal, tanks, and like the jungle terrorist champions. Now let's get to Ignite. You lose a total of 65 damage. Oof. No, you gain 65 damage late game. So it's 500 damage late game. I don't know. I think Teleport's still much more useful. So biscuits, we'll go from 12% over 5 to 20 plus. So 20 base. So 20 health plus 2% maximum up to 100% based on using. This maxes out at 70% missing health. I think they just keep nerfing cookies into the ground because they really just don't want people taking this anymore. Because literally everyone just eats them. Even like it's not they don't give mana, they just give a lot of HP, but now they give less HP. But it's scaled based on your missing health. So for missing health, what you have to understand is the more health you have, the more your missing health matters. So say you have 1,000 HP, but say your teammate has 4,000 HP. When you are at 100 HP, right, you're missing 90% of your HP. So you would heal 70%. You could heal 7, maxes out at, 70% missing health. So you'd be at 300 HP, so you'd heal 20 plus 2%, 2% up, increase up to 100%. So it's 2 times 10, so it'd be what, like... I feel like this is a good change for tanks, but for everyday Andes to just take it, I think it's a really bad change. Unflinching, 10 at all levels. I don't like this rune. I feel like it's fucking useless. Overgrowth and Revitalize are just so much more useful than Unflinching. Do not take them. Then ARAM buffs, rotating game mode, no one cares about that. Is there anything else? What is this? Oh, this is arena and shit. Yeah, it looks like it. Wait, what is this? Rotating. Oh, arena changes. Okay, so that looks like it's gonna be. Let's see any interesting. Okay, these are arena changes. Bug fix QL. Sound effects. Practice tool. Elise E. What the? Elise E would reveal wards? Huh? Okay, that was crazy. That's hilarious. Okay, so it looks like there's nothing too much. So I know it's a really big video, but hopefully this has given you a little bit of an insight into how my mind works for these patch changes, and we'll be doing them going forward. Might even do these for TFT if people are interested. I'm not the best in TFT. I'm mainly just like a hyper role player, but we'll look into things. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.